Sun comes, I need to throw some sunglasses on. All right, we're going to rock and roll. It's 11 o'clock right now. This will be played live later for anyone else who wants to watch it. So we're just going to chat a little bit, kind of skip through a recap of last week and just kind of get into some of the things that are going to be happening this upcoming week. We will dive in a little bit to the governor's announcement, as well as we're probably expecting the mayor to say something more specific about Marion County in the next couple of days. I don't think it'll be too much different than what the governor said. And so we'll kind of discuss some of those things. But first and foremost, we do have some funness going on this week, if that's the word. Peter can talk about it a little bit more because he traditionally gets his hair cut by her. But Tuesday night, we go for it, Peter.
Yeah, so we try and keep this NapTown social series alive as much as possible and provide some cool things back to you guys as members. So this week, Andra Kramer, and I believe she has teamed up with Marta. They're going to be bringing some at-home haircut DIY tips to you. So this is on Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the evening. You can log on to our Zoom room and Facebook Live, and they're going to go through a step-by-step tutorial on how to help cut your significant other's hair. I don't know, maybe even help dye your significant other's hair. I feel like that's been a big topic, dyeing hair. Jared stopped dyeing his hair somewhere when we were like sophomores in college. So I don't remember what that's like.
Probably senior year in college, but we won't go
True
there.
story. I was going to make fun of him, but he actually did dye his hair for a long time.
Frosted tips.
Frosted tips. So Andra, you can comment more if you're going to be talking about how to frost tips. But I feel like that's something we're probably going to skip for now. But it should be a fun event on Tuesday night. Again, 7 o'clock, Andra and Marta will be talking about some at-home hairstyling opportunities. If you guys have a beard trimmer, if you have some hair cutting shears, a spray bottle with water, make sure you don't have any bleach in that spray bottle. Bad news there. Or if you have clippers at home, anything like that will be helpful, and she can answer some questions about how to just not shave off the head, because that always seems like the easiest answer, just shave it all off. At least that's what I thought you had to do. So you can actually do some pretty cool stuff.
More importantly, there's a trend going around right now called a bowlette. So it's a mullet, but you put a bowl around your head, and then you cut your hair that way, and then leave the back end long. So I've thought about that before. Might have to get approval, but we'll see. I don't know if Andrew will approve.
The only official person that we know has had a good mullet in their lifetime. So if you guys have mullet pictures, maybe that should be the picture of the day on Tuesday. Hudson has some pretty good mullet pictures from his previous collegiate high school life. So maybe ask him about those.
A couple other things coming up that we're excited about. We are still working on providing some NapTown apparel in the upcoming weeks and upcoming months. So we're super excited. We just approved the Pride shirts.
Yeah, we have 2 shirts coming out this week, actually. Kind of a holiday style shirt and a Pride shirt. Sorry, I'm jumping in on that, but it's been kind of my pet project.
Yeah.
So Johnny's and I have been working as well as some of the other staff. There's a really awesome Pride shirt. Super pumped about that. And we were going to try to time these better, but obviously worldwide pandemic happened. So there's going to be a Pride shirt, and there's going to be a America themed shirt, but it actually has the state bird of a cardinal on the back. So when you see this, it's a really cool shirt, but it is a little bit different than a normal NapTown shirt. So look at it. You'll see a little bit of a newer design. Again, it's a America themed shirt with the state bird of a cardinal. So when you look at that, it's going to be a little bit different. But I'm really excited about both those shirts. Obviously, May is coming up. Or we're in May, so Memorial Day is now going to be coming up.
Is it Friday?
June will be coming up next, according to the calendar. And that's what the Pride shirts will be here. We're still going to do some stuff for Pride, whatever we can, within the law. And then we have 4th of July and a lot of other things coming up. So these shirts are here for summer. We're going to have some tank options as well as t-shirt options to try to give everyone their favorite pick of the litter.
Yeah, another thing, Practice Indie Yoga came out with some virtual foundations early last week, and have seen great success with it. People signing up and getting involved and getting their yoga practice going. So we're going to, from the fitness side, also be borrowing from that playbook and working on developing a virtual foundations. We do have we want to run a couple free options of this. So if you have significant others, husbands, spouses, friends, family, coworkers, anyone you know that's interested in fitness but doesn't really know how to get started. This is going to be a great opportunity to use. I mean, gyms are closed until May 24th, and things we'll talk about a little bit later, but like use the next 20 days, 24 days to figure out your ability to do fitness. And so that's going to be available if you're interested, or if you have coworkers or spouses who may need a little bit of guidance in the fitness world. That's what it's there for. So shoot us an email at info@naptownfitness.com, and we'll be able to get you set up with one of our coaches to run a virtual foundation. So we're really excited about that opportunity too. So I've got to give a shout out right now. Ty's on to everyone who doesn't know. Ty, well, I mean, was it a week and a half ago?
10, 12 days ago.
Yeah, 10, 12 days ago, had a massive heart attack and scared the shit out of a lot of us, and was in the hospital and ICU for quite a few days, and has a Facebook group of over 1,000 people praying for him. And now Ty is on his road to recovery, and
he's here live.
He's here live watching us, and has been commenting on the NapTown members only page. He's the captain of the 11:45 a.m. Swift adult recess class at downtown 916. So we're happy to have our captain back in that sense. So Ty, thanks for joining us, man, and look forward to chatting with you further on that. A couple other updates. You could talk about the
I'm going to say this a couple times as we go in and be as clear and slow as possible. We have a nightly newsletter. I know most people have been getting the nightly newsletter, but this week will be a very important week to please check it nightly. We did find out, even though all of our staff members have been calling you guys and texting you guys and emailing and checking in, we found out a handful of people still didn't realize there's a nightly newsletter. And it's going to be really important this week with the shirts. That's where you're going to see the shirt info. That's where you're going to see some of this class updated info, and some of the announcements we're about to make about a challenge we're going to run. So the nightly newsletter, as well as we're renting out rowers and bikes now. And that's down here a little bit. So that's all on the nightly newsletter on how to go about that. So if you don't get the nightly newsletter, please let us know right away by emailing us, and we'll make sure you're on that, or check your spam, because that's going to be the most important way for us to communicate with you, especially this week with all the things going on. So one of the next big things we want to talk about is what I just said. We are renting out rowers and bikes. We had lots of communication about this and what the best route to do this was. And we still don't know if this is the right choice. Right. And we just worked our tails off. We had like an hour and a half long conversation with all of our staff members, talked to a couple key members of the gym as well, and just trying to figure out what is the best. And we just decided that we're going to try to go with we are very, very far down in our overall revenue. We're doing okay, but we just kind of made a decision that we are going to rent them. And it was a difficult decision, but renting just seemed like the most logical, especially when it comes into sense of they're very expensive machines. There's a lot of upkeep on them, and we just wanted to make sure that we kind of offset that rental fee. So we are renting rowers and bikes. And again, additional information that's going to be first come, first serve. And additional information can already be found in the nightly newsletter that I think went out Friday and will go out again tonight as well. With that, we are getting ready to do our May challenge, and we are really excited about
this. Talk about this first. Like, it's from the 6th to the 20th.
Yeah. Check the newsletter, because the bike rentals are going to be from May 6th to May 20th. And the rower rentals. So you'll have a chance to pick them up on Wednesday of this week. You'll coordinate that with Eric, who's been an all-star staff member, being in there and helping people pick up all their equipment and things that they needed.
It's $50 for a 2-week rental from that standpoint. And then there's also going to be some liability. We'll have each person sign an individual waiver for that. As Peter had mentioned, these are very expensive, as well as we just don't want anyone to get hurt at home. So it's a gamble, but we trust you all, and we want everyone to be as safe as possible and be as healthy as possible, and also add value to your memberships during this time, and help us with the bottom line too, because we've seen a huge hit. But Maybe Fit Challenge.
I didn't know that was the name of it.
Yeah, it's the Maybe Fit Challenge.
May Be Fit Challenge, or Maybe Fit Challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, I see where we're going with this. We have been calling all of you guys. I've said that multiple times already, and trying to just figure out what we can do. What can we do from a providing best experience standpoint? You guys know we tried a 21-day nutrition challenge. We've done a 30 and 40 yoga challenge. We did the CrossFit at home series, CrossFit.com, which, by the way, thank you. We did get some nice return on that. We really appreciate that. Our staff will really appreciate that when we give them some bonuses here for their hard work. The last one we're going to try here is a May Be Fit challenge. Again, it's a 15-day sprint challenge. Think about it like that. It's going to be the fastest 15 days of fitness you've ever done. We're going to start that here in a couple days through the end of the month, or through the end of the official quarantine, hopefully. And every day there's going to be 1 or 2 challenges, and you're going to be able to accumulate points. And every challenge that you complete will get your name into a drawing. And we're going to have top prizes all the way up to including a free month's membership and a foundations course for you to gift to a friend, and a few other really cool prizes that we're working with local partners. So if you guys own a small business and you guys are interested in giving in to that as a prize, feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to coordinate with you guys. If not, you guys want to just participate in it, we look forward to having you guys participate in that challenge. The feedback we've been getting is the classes have been great. People have been really enjoying things, but they're missing that like camaraderie of being pushed. And so hopefully this challenge will give you that little extra adrenaline or endorphin kick that you need to really get out there and try some stuff. And hold yourself accountable, because a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I do the workouts, or I don't try as hard in class, or I missed the last 3 workouts. I don't know how to get back on the bandwagon. So this challenge is meant to be for you guys. It's meant to really just click that gear, like, oh yeah, we're still in this. The governor told us we're still in this. So let's have basically an accountability challenge where we all get behind this and push each other the last 20 days here of this quarantine.
And the sign up for the challenge is free, as Peter mentioned. It is going to be ran and hosted on Train Heroic, and have its separate code of, it's going to be May Be Fit, all capital letters, no spaces, for sign up code on Train Heroic. So it's going to have its own platform within Train Heroic that we're going to be running that. All the challenges will be shared on the NapTown Fitness Instagram stories. So you'll see all those challenges. As Peter mentioned, it's just gonna be a great way for us to kind of bring the community back together and have a lot more people. I know, yoga's been having its own challenge, and nutrition, and now it's to bring it all together. And it's going to be a great, phenomenal tool for the month of May here at NapTown. So we're really excited about it. I'll send a link, or put a link on the Facebook page as well, for everyone here to go sign up. Like I said, it is free to sign up. There's also a tutorial on that page of a video tutorial on how to sign up for a Train Heroic account, which will be nice to learn that for the future as well.
And I want to just reiterate something. If you're just joining us, the newsletter this week will be the most important week for you to check it up to date. So please, if you're not checking that nightly newsletter, please do. It's an awesome newsletter. There's tons of information. Just scroll through it. A lot of action for you to take this week. That'll be the word of the week: action.
Yeah. And
it's also on our website. That's what Jared's going to be sharing. So if you're bored and you want to audit our website for us, feel free to do so. Find everything that's on there, and you'll find all sorts of great information that Justin Harder and Super Pixel helped us create this website that we just released about a month and a half ago. So perfect timing.
Cool. So moving on from some of the announcements and things going on this week, we're going to move into, I think Peter's chugging his beer right now because we're getting into some deep discussions. I'm just kidding. It's only seltzer water. So many of you know, I'm sure all of you know, you probably watched the governor on Friday release the guidelines for Indiana and what it's going to look like to reopen. We're going to follow 100% the government guidelines, whether it's from the governor, whether it's from the mayor. We're not going to go out rogue and try to do something crazy. We are going to continue to be safe and make sure that's the number one priority.
I do want to add a quick tangent in on that. We have been, and we've, if you guys have seen, there's quite a few other gyms that have been writing letters to the governor and other high officials, and we've written a couple. We fully believe that what we provide as a service is essential, especially at the very least from a personal training standpoint, because the health benefits that we're seeing go with this. But we cannot make any claims around that. But I just want you guys to know we've been doing our best to try to let people know we should be an essential business. I love my donuts. I support all donut eaters, but it's really hard for me to say that a donut shop should be essential and a gym that can offer personal training is not. We're going to leave it at that. I'm not trying to split hairs on it, but we have been doing our best to try to get open earlier. And with that being said, safety is priority. And Jared and I have done a couple news releases. And Anna's been in the Indy Star and on some news channels. And with that, you can only take what you hear with a grain of salt because they're not quoting us exactly. We're trying our best to let everyone know, like, our members and our coaches are our first priority, and we are going to abide by the law. We're not trying to sneak the back door open and let people in by any means. So just wanted to clear that up a little bit.
That's my favorite part about Peter and I knowing each other since we were 6 years old and running a business together is we have an entire agenda I spent 45 minutes on, and he just like muddled 6 different points together and stole all from that agenda. Because these are all things we're going to discuss individually, but
I read it.
Apparently he just jumps right in and wings it like he does many things. So back to the government guidelines that we were talking about. Point number 1 on discussions, section A. We are right now earmarking our physical dates of opening up to May 24th. So that is what we're shooting for. That's what we've been told. That's what the government, what's that? And this is all maybe, right? This is all depends on what the government tells us we can and can't do, but that's our current status. Yoga's timeline right now is going to be a week later on June 1st. So we're going to try to learn what we can learn from the physical spaces at fitness and then move forward from there and build out a better timeline for what yoga is going to look like as well. Being a smaller space, more intimate space, we want to make sure we understand how we can develop the proper procedures and guidelines and protocols within our bigger spaces and more open spaces.
Yeah, Shannon's been in contact with all the yoga teachers, and she's trying her best because, as Jared just said, the most important thing is a CrossFit gym. We have thousands of square feet for the most part. In most of our yoga studio space, we don't. So to tape out a certain grid for a yoga space would just lose that intimacy pretty quick. And our gut right now is telling us that you can still get a better intimate feeling of yoga from your home living room via Zoom than you would in a gridded out square where you're worried about how many people are around you. So that's why we're giving yoga a little bit more time as well.
With some of those government guidelines as well, we do want to make it apparently clear that we are not, as a business of NapTown, allowed to sponsor, run, develop, encourage, promote any sort of park workouts via our business platform. So just so you're aware, like anything that you see with big giant groups, that's just, people on their own individual, will, I guess, and wanting to go out and work out with others and following social distancing guidelines, that's totally acceptable. But we as NapTown cannot go out and do park workouts and things of that such. So not that that's been a question. We just kind of want to throw that out there and let people know that, like, we would love to be able to do that, and we would love to be able to offer that as a class or a service, programming, whatever the case may be, but we're just not there yet with what the governmental guidelines have been. And
you can imagine by us calling 400 plus different people and emailing and texting, as you guys have been a part of, we're getting a lot of questions, right? So it's hard for us. How do we answer all the questions, or do we answer the majority of questions? Like, are there redundant ones? And so people are like, what, can we do outside stuff? And we're like, yeah, we would love to do that. Obviously, you guys are humans and you should, and it's beautiful outside. But to Jared's point, like, we just can't sponsor that.
Also, by the way, if anyone has questions, feel free to chime in and shoot some our way on Facebook here. We'll be able to answer those. So some of the actual details of what this will look like when the time comes, and this is all just kind of preparation. This is what we're learning from gyms that are opened up across the country or across the world, actually, that have been given guidance to be allowed to open up and what they're doing for precautions. And even some states that have opened up, and we'll see how that goes. But the idea when we do reopen, especially for the fitness side of things, we'll look specifically as we'll have virtual classes, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 or 2 in the evening, depending on accessory classes that we still offer, buns and guns and core and mobility. But also with that, we'll have some physical classes, same things, morning, middle of the afternoon, and evening. We will have a reduced schedule of the physical classes. There will be a 30-minute buffer in between those classes. As you can probably guess, we have to limit in order to the amount of staff we have right now, just because of what's going on and controlling expenses from that standpoint. So we certainly aren't going to be able to open up with a giant schedule for physical classes. So with that, there will be pre-registration that needs to take place on Pike 13 in order for you to reserve your spot. Reserving your spot, what that looks like is Every space is going to have a 10 by 8 box. They've already been mapped out at all the locations. We were potentially prepared to open up, tomorrow for May 4th, if that was what the government and the mayor allowed us to do, with these procedures in place. So that's why we have this kind of ironed out. This is actually, we had a bulleted list of about 7 or 8 different things that we sent to the city and the state, explaining how other cities and states have done it and what we would do to help prevent any transmission of the virus. So anyways, you go into the space, it's a 10 by 8 box. You literally walk through our entrance. You don't touch a single thing. You walk straight to your box, you set your belongings down in that box, and your equipment is there for you for that day in that box. And it's already been cleaned because our coaches and our staff would be cleaning during the 30-minute buffers in between classes. So the idea is you still get to walk into the space, you still get to see people, you still get the accountability, you still get to push each other. You just aren't going to be high-fiving and butt slapping and anything else of any.
There's a lot of butt slapping going on. I must miss those classes.
Kyle Goodberlet's in class. Sometimes you get slapped in the butt. So they still have that accountability and what, that community aspect that we thrive on at NapTown. So right now, currently in our spaces, and again, this is subject to change, but Monown, we've been able to develop about 10 to 12 spaces, 916 about 10 to 12 spaces, and 922 about 20 to 23 spaces with that 8 by 10 box or 10 by 8 box. Within that, there would also be walking lanes. So the whole goal of this, as I'm sure you can understand, is we're trying to develop, or we are developing, 6 feet of buffer space amongst everyone. A couple other pieces with that would be, we will be closing down our showers. So being able to use our facilities for showering and such will not be allowed up front. I believe the restrooms will be open in the sense that you can use the restroom if you have to, number 1 or number 2. It's important for the working out aspects. So
we also have to consider personal training, foundations, other things like that. Again, we're trying our best just to, there's so many variables. And right now, just trying to make sure you guys know we do have a game plan in place. It is subject to change. It's probably going to change every 7 to 10 days as things get a little bit more clear when we do get open. So this is just what we have to start with, and we have to start with as strict standards as we think we can uphold, and then release it backwards, just like everybody else is right now.
So we kind of talked about this a little bit, and Peter mentioned it, and I don't want to go off on too far of a tangent, but from we've been doing a couple vulnerable moments during some of these town halls, and as you guys can probably imagine, as small business owners, this hasn't been easy. I mean, there's been sleepless nights. There's been moments where you don't think that this is going to work. There's moments that you're just like, we got to try everything we can possibly try to keep our members active, to keep adding value to the memberships. But with that being said, we're also in a very fortunate position because we can at least provide a product to our members. Whereas, certain coffee shops, restaurants, certain businesses are completely 100% shut down with zero revenue. So, there's the ebbs and flows of all this. And some days it's a beautiful thing and you feel challenged and you feel ready to rock and roll and, developing a new business model with a virtual platform and how many members really love it and are excited. And we've gotten crazy feedback via email and individual messages from people saying how much they actually love how much they love the virtual platforms. But then there's other days where you feel, we get 4, 5, 6 people go on hold or cancel in a day, and then it sucks. It's like, oh shit, it's multiply that by 30 more days and we're screwed. So this is kind of my moment just to say thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you all for any feedback, any guidance. This has been very eye-opening in the sense of how important our health and fitness and mindfulness and wellness are in our lives, and how we have to take care of ourselves first and then help others. One of the moments I had was the bright spots on Friday. I added a little vulnerability twist to it. And, I've personally had more mental health conversations I've ever had in my entire life over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it's been very, very enlightening to learn about all of that. We don't have a crystal ball, so we don't know when this will be over. So we just got to continue to stick together and stick with NapTown from that standpoint. So we really appreciate everyone from there. I know Peter briefly talked a little bit about the essential business versus the non-essential businesses. That is something that really tears at me. I don't really know. I think we're going to end up putting together a letter, putting together, some proposals. Not that we're wanting to change anything, but I think this is a great opportunity to make sure people in the seats, whether it be political or higher level in corporations, understand how important it is to be on the ground level, and understanding that small fitness boutique gyms such as NapTown Fitness, such as your Orange Theory, such as even your F45s, all those gyms can physically be open and be helping people right now if you follow the appropriate guidelines. And whether some of the other spaces should be allowed to be open, I don't want to necessarily get into politics, but worship centers and vape shops and retail and donut shops and all of this can be open prior to us. And in my personal opinion, I think that's unfair. But it is what it is, and we'll deal with it. We'll make it work. So just so you know, there are things that we're thinking of and things that, hopefully coming out of this, we can help reshape what values Indiana and Indianapolis has moving forward, as well as our country. So we're really excited about that opportunity, and just want to let everyone know, like, for Peter and I both, like, optimism is our, one of our number one core values. So we're really excited about the future, what we can do and what we can help educate people on.
I touched on this already. Jared and I had an opportunity to be in a couple newspapers, news sources this last week. We're doing our best to stand our ground and be open and honest. But again, just in transparency to you all, I promise you with the deepest of my heart that we have you guys as members and our coaching staff at the forefront of everything. One of the news sources kind of spun Jared's words to say that we will be open on Monday. And it's like, we never thought we would have been open on Monday without actual government guidance. So we're going to leave it at that again. It was heavily misquoted. And it is what it is. I mean, that's the media, and that's okay. We get it.
Peter's being nicer. I was really pissed. I'm just gonna let you all know I was really pissed. I got a couple messages from members saying they were bummed to see me say that, and I just want to let everyone know I did a 28-minute Zoom call with a reporter. They took 20 seconds of that 28-minute Zoom call, and in the actual written article, said I said something, but didn't put in quotes because I never actually said it. And it was pretty much saying that we're going to be open up on Monday, which I never said that. So anyways, I just want to throw that out there to you guys who's listening right now, because I was pretty bummed about that, and actually made me truly realize how bad media is, and how fake news can be such a real thing when a reporter just kind of says what they want to say to make their article work. So that's my piece on that one. Just wanted to share that. Week 8, thanks Russ, by the way, Team NapTown with a bunch of emojis there. I appreciate that, Russ. Good shout out there. Week 8 reminders. We've had over 20 people on Saturdays for our Saturday hero workouts at 11 a.m. That's myself, just in the backyard. I've been selecting workouts based on just body weight movements and making sure that it's not too equipment heavy for people, so that you can do them from home. We had 28 people 2 Saturdays ago to honor Officer Brian Leith, who passed away here with IMPD. And then this past Saturday, we had 20 people to honor Zachary Tellier in a hero workout. So I'm very appreciative of that, for you guys continuing to join me on those. We'll have another one this coming Saturday. If you didn't know about it, it's just a regular Zoom room that we normally have. And I think the last piece we want to talk about, and we'll open up for any questions. You guys could type in any questions. Just let us know. Is just, if you need someone to talk to, we're here. And I would genuinely mean that, in the sense of, you can schedule a Zoom, you could shoot us texts, you can shoot us emails, you can set up a phone call with us. You can do that with your coach, your individual coach, who's following up with you from a weekly basis, just checking in with you. Or you could send Peter and I a message. I'd be happy to sit down and drink some coffee. We could sit down and chat and just sort of hear things out. I think what's really important right now is being comfortable with being in safe spaces and sharing your feelings and sharing what's going on. And there's challenges for every single person. Many of us are very fortunate. Some of us haven't even had some of us work from home and didn't even, get a single, change in their lifestyle, I guess you would say, through this whole thing. And other people have been completely uprooted. So everyone's in a different place right now. And we just want to make sure that, that we're open to, helping with that. And, what we do is relationship based. We want to make sure we're available for you guys.